Google Technology Enhanced Learning Sussex YouTube, and it'll bring you to the YouTube channel.
Your event is starting.
That's not it.
For some reason it's saying the stream's bad.
What if?
Oh, it's live. We're live. That's it.
Hey,
We are live.
We're live.
I think. So, welcome to the TEL US Podcast or Vid Podcast. Number. I never did find out the number.
I think it's number 8, isn't it?
We didn't decide to give it a number.
Number special. We're
Number special.
I thought we were past 8 already.
Are we?
That's why it's special now.
Or number 1 video podcast.
Number 1 Vid Podcast.
Start
TEL
with
US.
that.
Anyway,
Yeah, it's a brand new thing.
So what we're going to do? Ready?
Moving swiftly on.
Hang on.
I can see your dance moves too.
Just got a drink.
There we are. Yeah, no, welcome. I'm really excited about this episode. Are you, Tab?
I am super excited.
What about you, Pete?
Very excited.
George?
I'm just bursting with enthusiasm.
So,
You know they can see you as well.
That's not going to work.
yeah, there is no hiding in this room today.
That's right.
So why is this a special episode? What are we doing?
Well, it's something different, isn't there?
You can see us!
In 360 video!
But not 3D.
No. But we could make a 3D version, and then my hands would come out of the screen like that.
That's another special.
We all just wave our hands at the camera.
Speaking of 3D, there was something cool I saw yesterday in physics, in the physics school, which I'll talk about in a bit. But the reason we're recording in 3D today, in 360 today, is because we recently got a new toy. What was our new toy, George?
Well, you're looking out of it right now. It's our new 360 camera.
Yeah.
The Nexus S.
No.
No,
What's it
No,
called?
it's a Ricoh Theta.
Ricoh Theta
Theta
S.
It's because you're using your Nexus.
That's what I'm looking at. Yeah, that's it.
So yeah, we picked up this new toy, a Ricoh Theta S.
Probably say actually that it's not a phone.
No,
So it could be quite
it's not a
confusing.
phone. It is a camera, and it's a 360 camera. We're pretty excited about the possibilities of 360, using it in education, and also just for some cool stuff. So we figured we'd just record our ideas podcast, TEL US, this week, and live stream it to YouTube. So I don't expect anyone's watching live, but we're going to put this up after.
I actually can't find a live link.
That's fine. That's all right then. So
So I don't think it's
we'll
right.
see what happens.
but you'll be able to catch up with it later.
Yeah. So anyway, moving on. So VR, AR, 360, are they all the same thing? What happens? It's an immersive world. Let's break it apart.
Okay. Where do we start?
Well, the thing is, I think, with virtual reality, it's like you're actually in that world, and you know, when you look around you, you will see this virtual world. Whereas with AR, with augmented reality, it's more like you're in the real world, but you can see different things kind of overlaid over your normal vision that will kind of bring something extra to
So
the experience.
virtual reality, that could have quite a broad meaning really. I mean that could be as much as something such as Second Life, for example, which is a virtual world
Yeah.
in a sense.
Yeah, it could kind of, although usually it's associated with like having a headset or something so that you can't actually see the real world at the same time, you're just kind of totally in there.
Full immersion in a virtual world.
Yeah, what's that you're holding
Full
there,
immersion.
George?
This is a Google Cardboard, which is a nice, quick and efficient way for anyone to get their hands and try a bit of VR out.
And how much was that?
So this was actually about £2.
There you go.
You do have to make it yourself, but they're quite easy to put together with a generous amount of sellotape.
And you've customised it as well, haven't you?
You can, as you can see, customise it in whatever
And
suits you.
nearly
does that-
every smartphone is capable of displaying Google Cardboard content.
Yeah, we haven't really explained how that works, is it? It's basically a cardboard box with a special lens, and you put your phone inside, as George is demonstrating right
Pop
now.
it
if you're
inside
watching the
there.
video.
You can load up a range of different applications, such as Google Cardboard's own app, and then you simply pop the headset on, and you can go, whoa, there's a whole virtual world in here.
So if you want, and you have a Google Cardboard, you can watch this video podcast using your Google Cardboard, and so you don't have to swipe the screen, you can just look around.
Absolutely. And I really recommend, if you do get one of these cardboard viewers, you should check out the Cardboard app and go on the Arctic Adventure, because the Arctic Adventure is a really great kind of introduction to it.
So VR, AR, 360, we're throwing it all together today, just in terms of immersive filming. They are quite separate things, of course. But in terms of that space then, what things are you liking? What have you got to show us today? What do you want to share with us? Something a bit daft, I think.
Well, yeah, you could say that. Well, what you may not know is that if you have a tablet or a phone or whatever, you can actually just go onto your normal YouTube app, and if you search for 360 video, there's loads of 360 videos that you can watch, and you don't actually need a VR headset.
No.
Like I've got an example video here, and this is a video of Where's Wally, but it's like looks like a kind of real life situation, like some shopping centre, but there are people walking around, and you need to look around the scene, and you'll notice that as I turn the iPad, I can actually look up, I can look down, and I can look all around to try to find where Wally is in amongst the crowd. But if you don't want to keep moving it around like that, you can also just use your finger to look around like that.
So while you're watching this, have a go, swipe the screen and you can have a look at the pencil. You found him?
That's Wally, yeah.
Waldo.
Yeah,
Waldo.
the American version.
Great, that's
But
really
yeah.
cool, really good use. Quite a nice gamey way of playing with 360. So it forces you to look around the scene.
Well, that's the thing, because it's different, isn't it? Like with a normal video, you're focused on one place, but so it's a different medium. Like, how do we adapt what we're creating to make the most of that 360 experience?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure. Pete, what have you got to share with us?
Well, going back to the Google Cardboard, which we just looked at a second ago, you can actually get an app called Google Cardboard, and with this you can actually create your own 360 photos, and you can do that just from a normal camera on a mobile device, so you don't need a 360 camera to do this. So for example, if I load up it's actually just going to show it in 2D, but this is an example I created earlier of...
So if you click Cardboard now,
that
should show it. So if you turn it on its side,
yeah,
again, keep going.
It's being portrait, doesn't it?
It's
landscape,
very
isn't it?
specific edge.
Yeah,
it needs
it's
to be
that.
on. Yeah,
That's it.
there you go. So you see that's adapted for Google Cardboard now.
You can see it's actually got sound with it as well.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So it's worth noting, whilst you can create these photospheres with a phone, it gives you hotspots to focus on to take your photo. It's worth noting that they're not incredible. You do get blurry edges, but it is pretty cool. So you can take a photo of a space and you can tag that into Google so it appears on maps.
So whilst we're doing the 360 video, I could actually do a 360 photo of us doing this.
Go on, give it a go. You do that while we carry on.
Hold your phone, start capturing it. Okay, so let's put it that way up.
Yeah, you've got to move it very slowly around.
And then
And
I've
not
got
cover
my
the
finger
camera with your finger,
on
yeah.
the camera.
It might be
It's
easier
not
to do
good
on
stuff.
your own.
So I think if you move around, you should be able to see a spot for it to.
Just see how this comes out.
They've changed it.
No, that I think you're thinking of the Google Street View app, because that has one where you've got spots.
Yes.
Yeah,
The
and that allows
spheres,
you to do the whole sphere.
Of course.
Whereas this one, you just go on a kind of horizontal
slow
plane
down.
and you just capture it. So you don't get above and below. You
Okay.
just get the
That
kind
is
of
different then,
panorama.
yes.
Yeah.
So there are loads of 360 sphere apps.
You
in
do
the
look
App
a
Store.
bit weird whilst you're taking a photo of this.
There are loads of apps in the App Store for this purpose. Some grey out areas until you've covered it with the camera, and other things. Or some reveal the world around you as you go around it. They're all different. So worth checking out your App Store and seeing if you can get one and have a play. And if you want to send us some of the ones you do, we'd love to see the spaces you're in, you're learning in, you're working in. That'd be really cool. So George, what are you going to share with us?
Pete stole mine. There is an
Thanks
app
for letting me
that's,
go
well,
first.
there's some augmented reality apps, and I can't actually show it to you because I need to print out something first, which I forgot about.
So you maybe want to explain a bit how augmented reality works as opposed to VR. So VR, you're totally immersed, so you're relying on what's on the screen. But of course, AR interacts with the real world, and how does it do that?
So you can do it for a number of formats. So for example, there's an app here that I was going to show you where you can print off, say, a small little paper or show like a human body, and then you can go around it, point it at parts of the printed image, and on your camera you'll see bits of the organs of that body kind of displayed for medical use and
That's pretty
observable
cool.
use, so they're projected over the real world.
So these are known as trigger images, right?
Yes, exactly. And they could be anything, printed QR codes, reading a certain image, so you can get fully immersive AR experiences as you go around.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
People may have seen Pokemon Go, for example, as an example of AR that was quite popular, where Pokemon would be superimposed over the real world and people were trying to catch them. I don't know.
And there's some great apps for AR stuff. There's Aurasma, Blipper as well, so they're a couple of ones worth checking out.
Yeah. What does Blipper do then?
Oh, Blipper, it recognises the environment. So it recognises, it's sold as a bit of a marketing tool, isn't it? So it recognises objects within the room. So for example, the Theta that you're watching on, the Ricoh Theta S, it would recognise that as a camera, as you can see now. So it's recognised that's a chair. You can click on chair and it can take you to...
What happens if you point it at Pete?
What about the cup?
Yeah, maybe we can try the cup.
Indoors furniture, no, it's not enjoying the cup.
It's not a conventional looking cup, though, is it?
What about Pete?
What happens with a cup of tea? Woman.
It's getting
just came on table.
Alright. Almost.
Yeah, it's got a cup. Yeah, look, there you go, tea.
So Coke cup. So it recognises the environment. It basically just does clever machine learning.
For George? Business, computer, laptop. Yes, George is a laptop.
I want to know what I get.
My terrible dark secret.
Okay, what do we get for Dan? Refrigerator.
Dan the refrigerator. It is one of my favourite places in the house. That's a good way of using AR.
Hairstyle, facial expression.
Indoors, hairstyle. Doesn't like you, Tab. Oh my god, no, that's quite creepy.
Yeah.
So one cool way you can use Aurasma, and I've done this before, it's fantastic, is you have... we're at 10 minutes already.
Yeah, I know. Goes quick,
how
right?
That work? So I used Aurasma and we printed out some trigger images using an app called Masquerade, which allows you to put these, in Facebook and Snapchat and stuff, you get these things over your head. And there was an Iron Man mask. And what you had to do was flick your head down and the head would come down, flick it up and it would go up like that. So we printed out a still of a video of someone doing that, and then that was the poster on the wall that was the trigger image for the video. So it was like the pictures out of Harry Potter, making the picture come alive. It looked great, but that's something you can use Aurasma for. So we are going to chat a little bit more because I just wanted to talk about some of the technical issues around what we're doing today. So it's been a bit of a learning couple of days around how to do this. So we're streaming live to YouTube at the moment. Well, possibly. It says I am. It's also telling me my stream status is bad. So I don't know what's going to come out of
in
this.
the Michael Jackson sense.
So what we've had to do is download a media encoder, which is effectively a little TV studio on a computer. We've downloaded an open source one called OBS. There are many available depending on the platform you're on, so YouTube will walk you through that and which ones to get and supported ones. You have to get a stream key, so you have to get a key from YouTube to put in, and it's a secure key because anyone with that key can stream to your channel.
When you say a key, it's a string of like numbers and letters, right?
So a password effectively for the stream. Put that into your media encoder, click start streaming on that, go back to YouTube, set up your live stream. And now what's quite interesting with YouTube, you have two options for live streaming. One is Stream Now and one is Events. Stream Now is just go straight live, In Events, you can go straight live, but you can also schedule live stream events, right? But you can only do 360 streaming through Events. So you have to go into Advanced Settings, check a box, and away you go.
So if anyone wanted to give it a go, that's the kind of process.
Yeah. So there's a lot to it, but if anyone listening, whatever, wants more info, we'll put loads in the show notes underneath this video. And
do you have that? Yeah. Do you have that what's it
OBS?
Called? OBS. Do you have that open?
I do, but it's tethered, so I can't really turn it around and show.
I was going to take a picture of it.
I see. Yeah. So there you go. So you see, it's like a little TV studio, and you can have transitions and stuff, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's what it looks like. It's kind of cool. You can switch between different cameras and whatever.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to know more, just reach out and we'll get in touch. But I think, should we start there?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think it's just a really exciting area, isn't it?
Yeah, actually, do you know what? We need to cover a little bit more because we talked about lots of cool stuff. We haven't really talked about, and we'll keep this quite brief, about how we might use that in education.
Yeah.
And teaching and learning.
Okay,
So
just go around.
we'll start this way this time.
Yeah.
Any thoughts, George?
Well, you could always go on, say, educational field trips can be good to see places you never would have been able
Such
to go
as?
to before. Castles, places very far away, for example. You want to
Yeah,
see
I meant the platform and service. What does Google do?
Oh, of course, Google have their own Google Explorer.
Expeditions.
Expeditions.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
see all kinds of fascinating places in a classroom environment, and the teacher can actually draw the attention of the class to certain areas they want them to focus on.
So, thinking about 360 video, you could use it for recording events. So, for example, if you're shooting a video, unless you've got multiple cameras or you're moving around the room, if you're at an event or presentation or even just actually trying to demonstrate a science experiment or something, for example, if you've got a 360 camera, then you don't have to think about as much about what you're planning to do, and you can let someone fully see what's going on, and so they can see everything from every angle. They could, if they wanted to look at the presenter, see how the crowd's reacting, or if it's an activity that's happening in the room, you can look at different things happening as well. So you can, that could work if you're live streaming, or if you're recording. It could be useful for someone in terms of reflection to see, okay, so how did this go, sort of things. Whilst you're presenting, for example, you're not always fully aware.
Yeah, I was so used as a sort of reflective
in the room. Yeah,
that's quite nice. Yeah, that's an interesting idea. Tab?
I was thinking it could be really interesting as a sort of thing for like role play or simulations, that kind of thing. So actually getting students to be put in a particular scenario, and that could be a pre-prepared thing. You've created this video or virtual reality experience around that, and get students to actually try and apply knowledge from their learning to situations. So for example, for language learning, it'd be really great because you could actually kind of put someone in a situation where they're in France and they have to go and buy a loaf of bread or what? Sorry,
a boulangerie.
Yeah, whatever that is.
That's cool.
Yeah, and so you could even have things labelled around the environment.
You could, couldn't you? Yeah. So editing video, you can do natively in Premiere Pro. Actually, allows you to enter 3D VR mode, and you can just fix stuff into the environment. I found it a bit more tricky in Photoshop. I'm pretty sure I understand it.
Oh, it doesn't work in the same way, because in Premiere it sort of flattens the video, so that's what we were a bit confused about at first, how that would work.
Yeah, so it's anyway worth exploring. And of course, something we've already started to explore within the TEL team is the idea of taking some of these less accessible environments in universities, such as research labs or specialist bits of equipment, to opening that out to a wider audience, where necessary and where wanted. So, for example, I was in a pharmacy research lab the other day, and there's some equipment in there. It's not a massive lab, but the idea of perhaps sharing that out a bit, it's quite these spaces, opening them up and having them a bit more immersive rather than just a photo of a expensive looking bit of equipment. So.
Yeah, it'd be good for, if you were going to go into that space, you could see it beforehand.
Yeah.
But also really good if you wanted to see a room in another institution across the world or something. We could share.
Actually, from an anxiety point of view, people who suffer from anxiety around going to new spaces, perhaps
really good point.
On the autism spectrum and so on, you can go and see a space before you go in a much more I know exactly where things are, I know where the door is, I know.
Well, from an accessibility point of view as well.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Cool. Right, we're going to wrap up there.
Yeah.
Because we're now on nearly 20 minutes.
Bloody hell.
So as it's a special, we've nearly doubled our time. But thank you for listening. We'll put as much of the information as we can in any show notes where we can.
That's very George.
And any questions about anything we've talked about, get in touch. If you're at Sussex and you want us to help with anything to do with 360, give us a shout. We're exploring it, we're new to it, so let's explore it together and have some fun with it. So yeah. Is that it?
Yeah, thanks
All right.
everybody.
Till next
Bye.
time.
See ya.
Bye.
Who was that waving?
That's Taylor Swift.